Okay, welcome to a Nerd Odyssey. I am Dalt. I have some of the crew with me, as we like to do here, as part of the Nerd Odyssey gang. I have my man Slosser. Slosser,
Howdy.
welcome.
Howdy.
Yeah, man, we're going to be talking about Expedition 33, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, it's called. Man, I am excited for this one, dude. Developed by the French studio Sandfall Interactive, published by Kepler Interactive. And yeah, man, I got some shit to say about this game, dude. Highest rated game in Metacritic history, more revenue than Assassin's Creed Shadows, only 30 developers. 30 developers.
Crazy, dude.
What was that, dude? Turn-based games are dead. Small studios can't compete. Players should expect more. Fuck that. Expedition 33 has defied the odds, brought some old school style back with the RPG turn-based style. It showed you don't need these billion-dollar budgets, man. The writer he found on Reddit, the composer he found on SoundCloud.
God.
So yeah, dude, Expedition 33 has showed that you do not need these big budgets. You don't need some Fortnite battle pass. You don't need V-Bucks. You're not doing microtransactions, dude. You don't need to waste your money on skins. It's just some passionate people making a passionate project, making a good fucking game, dude. This is what we needed.
Cook, baby. God,
This is what I needed. $50, no microtransactions, just $50 to play a sick game, dude.
An incredible game. Could never put the controller down. Always thinking about it. Always thinking about how you could have parried more. Always thinking about, making a left instead of a right. Always thinking about, hey, what does that mean in the story? It was constantly on your mind, at least for me while I was playing it. Like I physically could not put the controller down.
Dude, you're absolutely right, man. There was something about it, like in sports, they call it the eye test, right? Like you can look at all the stats.
Yeah.
You can look at all the numbers. And Expedition 33, like I said, highest rated game in Metacritic history. Expedition 33 has the numbers, but it also has the field test, baby. You're thinking about the game, dude. You're talking about. You and I just had a call just the other day. We were talking about it for a fucking hour. Just talking about Expedition 33, dude. Just phenomenal. So Slosser, I have a rule. I have a rule with my video game reviews. All righty? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm. I hit it.
We're going to each give a number between 0 to 10, or 1 to 10, we'll say.
I mean,
yeah. So one review right out the gate. I'll give mine first, and then I'll have you give yours, and then we'll quick do a summary, and then we'll get into some of the specifics about the gameplay, audio, et cetera, et cetera. All righty?
Sounds good. So, I know. I have a feeling, but yeah.
All right. So I gave it, it's pretty high. And what's funny in the Doom review, if you listen to my Doom, the Dark Ages review, I talk about how I'm going to be harsh on the ratings. I'm going to be very harsh. If I say if something's a 9 out of 10 or 9 or higher out of 10, it's going to be a revolutionary game. Well, guess what? I give this a 9.4 out of 10. Revolutionary game, generational game, dude. Covers all the areas, gameplay, story, graphics, man. We'll get into all that. But, dude, I was crying. I was feeling happy. I was getting pissed. I was cheering, dude. Like just an emotional journey. Amazing game, dude. So what do you got?
I'm going to go 9.6 for sure.
Wow, phenomenal.
The only one I would rate even close to it would be Black Myth Wukong, right?
Nice.
But I would say they're very similar. I'm going to say, this is going to sound crazy because I love Expedition 33, but Black Myth is going to take it by a slight 0.1 edge.
All right. Nice.
But Expedition 33, it's got the landscapes, which they co-opted from Unreal 5 engine. Fine. They're not reinventing the wheel, nor should they, right?
Right.
They co-opted the Unreal Engine 5 objects so they could focus solely on the story, on the music, on the characters, on the movesets. And it has everything, and it's universally loved, as shown by as heard by your previous statement in the Metacritic.
Universally loved, dude.
And
just rated.
Metacritic is not. It's generally a sought after rating because it's not like your typical IMDb Rotten Tomatoes score, right? It's pretty legitimate when it comes to that thing, especially games. But look, the soundtrack is a banger. Okay, you're facing different enemies, different soundtracks, different feels, different vibes. You go from like classical French all the way up to like dubstep French. And you're thinking, oh my God. And it influences your actions during the battle. It's so crazy. And
Yeah.
the other thing is there's so many, this is where kind of that JRPG, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, it's that total feel of you're so invested in the story. And there is a scene here, and there's no spoilers, but it is akin to the greatest scene ever in the history of video games, right? 17-foot blade descending from the sky. Need we go into more? But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
has, but like
Aerith, we're saying too much. We're saying too much. Yeah,
it has everything:
it
happiness,
does, man.
sadness, laughing. You're joyous. You have this like little kid sensibility about you. So 9 point. What did I say? 9.6.
9.6. I gave it a 9.4, dude. I think we're right in the same ballpark. Clearly, you know. So I'd like to give a quick summary. So Expedition 33, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. What do we got? To summarize it, every year, this mysterious, long, white-haired giant woman named the Paintress approaches a tall monolith out in the distance from the island of Lumiere, which you start at, and she paints a number in the sky in the distance. Anyone at or above that age will vanish, turning to smoke and petals. They pretty much just disappear and disintegrate into the air. It's a horrifying event. They call it the gamage, a French word. Slosser,
Very
Slosser,
French.
give me your best gamage.
Homage.
Gamage, yeah.
You talk about the Zegamage?
This is a gamage. So this year, the number is landing on 33. So those who will disappear in the next year have a chance to enlist on an expedition or a volunteer group with the intent on stopping this paintress permanently. You don't know much, man. You don't know much. You play as the leader, Gustav.
Anything.
Yeah, you're joined by a crew of good characters journeying across the mainland continent to destroy the paintress and break this horrifying gamage cycle. So it really is a great intro, a great prologue. It kind of sets you up for what's to come, both emotionally and with the gameplay. It prepares you. But you start, like I alluded to, on the island Lumiere, and after a festival to send off those who disappear from the gamage, you kind of have a nice drunken party before you sail off to the continent to go get that paintress, baby.
Yeah.
So Slash, where should we start, man? Why don't we start?
Let's start at the prologue. I mean, God.
The whole game, it almost slowly leaves you breadcrumbs and kind of trusts you to navigate your way through the lore. Like going through in the in Lumiere in the prologue, you know, you're with your, I guess, your ex-girlfriend, your girlfriend, wife, whatever, Sophie, and you're going to this inevitable end where she's going to disappear before you go off to the gamage. And man, it just from the start you get wrapped in. You feel the lore of the game, even at the festival. Like it's just amazing. Like, who is this paintress? Why are these people disappearing? And like, you know, it just opens up.
Yeah, and all you see is the monolith in the background. That's all you see. And that's right there. So they do something very interesting. Prologue is stunning. Absolutely stunning, from the music to the interaction with the people.
And you really see what it's like in this town. It's no one's really that happy. You know, it's not a feel good prologue. You know, you see what it's like with young people leading. Because as we said, like the gamage takes people of a certain age away, so there's really no one that's old in a sense. So everyone disappears with this gamage. So young people are leading. The family structure is just totally shit. Like kids have a whole different persona. You know, you can really pick up on the despair through Lumiere as you travel. With Sophie, who is due to gamage and disappear. She's due to just disappear, right? So you kind of stroll through the city with her, and it is absolutely beautiful. Like, we look at like the French, like I don't even know the words to say. Yeah, like the Palace of Versailles and like the architecture. Like I think that reflects into the game design and overlay of the world map. Like, you know, there's even in Lumiere when you start, there's red roses just falling down. You know what I mean? The architecture, the buildings, everything is so elegant and beautiful. There's this thing called the Manor, which is this big mansion that you visit multiple times through the game that is just so elegant and amazingly beautiful. But the game is just very French, is the best way I can describe it.
So yeah, it's been deemed like a final French to see.
Final French to see.
So
That's
that
phenomenal. I love that.
so nice username is the one who mentioned it to us. So I picked it up and we were talking on the phone one night and we're like, dude, it is so French. And it gets even Frencher as you get on through the game. It is hilarious.
It does.
From your costumes to their dialogue to,
Yeah.
I won't give spoilers, but everything French is in there. We'll just say that.
Yes. So hitting on the gameplay. The gameplay was revolutionary. Brought back the good old turn-based JRPG style, which we grew up with, baby. But what was unique about it is that it had these real-time mechanics, including dodging and parrying attacks, which are both quite difficult. Slosser,
Yes.
You popped in on the Discord and watched me play it. I was like, fuck, just trying to hit these things. Like you were like, oh, dude, you gotta get better at those parries, But dude, there's aiming, there's weapon upgrades. The combat was fun. It was engaging. I love turn-based games. If you love RPGs and you love turn-based, this is an excellent choice. Again, it's turn-based. You have the ability to accrue these ability points, which charge up different attacks. And the parry system, here's one thing I want to say before I turn it over to you. The parry system really rewards mastery and skill during a fight instead of grinding. Yeah, like not once did I feel grindy during this game like I did in prior RPGs, or I got to get a couple levels before I come back to that guy.
Right.
With parrying, you can have the opportunity to do a counterattack. And these counterattacks can be huge to the point where you're supposed to be on the defensive and boom, all of a sudden you're on the offense. So it's very, very rewarding. Again, not too grindy of an RPG. What do you think?
It's not. So it's in that same vein of like Black Myth Wukong, where if you don't have to be level 100. That's not, the levels are just a consequence of you just kind of going through the game. Right. So you do have, if you want to dodge, there are things so just real quick, there are multiple different styles, multiple different configurations of weapons and synergies. How you like to play is dictated in 3 people that you bring, right?
Yes.
So for me, I brought 3 very offensive. I don't care about healing. I'm going to run and gun you, and one of us is going to perish tonight.
I love it.
Then you start pairing, but to your point, it is a very interesting system. And you have 2 attacks you have many attacks throughout the entire round. So there's been instances of like, I've been into a fight of, it's been over 45 minutes long, 175 parries, doing millions of damage. And that is exhausting.
It is a 45-minute fight, dude. Like what? That's fucking crazy.
It's an incredible system. And to the gameplay, each character has their own system. Each character has their own set of weapons that has their own benefits and pros and cons, right? So if you'd like to play like one of the popular characters, Mael, I personally did not use Mael because I never found her to be that good. Apparently, she's one of the best. So
yeah, I rode her the whole time. I rode her the whole time, man. That virtuoso stance. Yeah, each character has their own unique style and own unique way to play, which makes it so much fun and addicting and engaging. You know what I mean? And also to tail off that, there's a system and a mechanic of these buffs. They're called Pictos.
Yeah.
Pictos in the game. And you can equip a Pictos, which I'll say are similar to like a Materia in a Final Fantasy series, right? They're almost like an equipable buff that you can put on your character, right? It could be, you gain more action points when you hit a dodge, or hey, you do 50% more damage when you're below 50% health, right? A whole different variety of ones. So you could find these Pictos. You could buy some Pictos. You can find them throughout the world. But what's interesting is after you equip the Pictos and you win 4 battles, you learn that Pictos.
Yeah.
And then you can equip it. It's called Illumina, but you can equip this Pictos as part of your character. And at the end, you have a whole library of different builds and different buffs to choose from and make these builds. So the possibilities are almost endless based off which character you use, which build you use with the character. Oh, this character does more damage with burn. Well, then I'm going to select my Pictos to also do more damage with burn. Yeah. Select this guy to have an increased chance to apply a burn. So there's, again, exponential different combinations you can do.
There
Yep.
are actual builds to the game, and it's, again, depending on how you play, what you feel comfortable with, that's what you're going to go. And they are builds. It is such a simple thing, but it's so done perfectly. What's the phrase I'm looking for? Like expertly executed, right? It's so easy to grasp, but it's
Mhm.
hard to master.
Yes, yes, that's exactly it. It is confusing at first. The whole Pictos and Lumina
Yeah.
setup is confusing at first, but once you get the hang of it and you start hitting those
Oh,
parries and you start hitting your builds right, dude, it
killer.
is amazingly rewarding. It's a 10 out of 10 gameplay for me. It really is, dude. I try to take my turn-based JRPG history and bias out of it, but no, dude. This is oh, it was just almost perfect gameplay. I found myself loving it more and more every single battle.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
You're looking for battles. You're looking to go like, oh, I missed the parry on that one. I'll definitely get the parry on this one.
Yes.
You know,
Yes. And you know, if I started a battle wrong and I missed two parries in a row, I just
yeah.
wanted to like, all right, just kill me. I need to restart this and get these parries, man. I'm getting pissed. But
That's so funny. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But what else, man? There were the lore, like I said, they kind of
Yeah.
throw little breadcrumbs of lore throughout. There's these little journals from
Ooh.
prior expeditions that you can go and read and brush up on your lore, and it's amazing. You can upgrade the weapons. You know, there's a save mechanic where there's little flags where other
Yep.
expeditions were, and you can upgrade weapons, heal up, restock on tints, or which I'll say are potions, right?
Yep.
You can heal
Yep.
potions, you know, so it's really cool, man. The gameplay, like I said, damn near perfect score for me on the gameplay. It just really hit hard, and I found myself loving it more and more, more
And
and
it's
more. You
not
know,
it's not an overly complicated game. There's a lot of things, but it's not complex. So
right?
to strike that balance, and you're talking about like the potion things. Well, there's only three of them,
Yeah,
and you just get more of them as you go. So
right.
it's that easy. So as you progress through the game, you're going to get these, and you explore the different areas. You're going to get these things, and then they did this other beautiful thing of like, hey, here's your checkpoint. You can always come back here, hit a flag, fast travel to anywhere you want.
Fast
Saves you
travel.
time. Yeah,
Yes.
save me time. And
Yeah.
then like, and then you're looking for like main story, but then you're also looking for there are so many callbacks. There are
Mm.
so many callbacks to their influences. It is incredible. It is
Right. Right.
absolutely incredible. Even the game, what's the game where I think it's called like Up or something, huge game where you're just basically just traversing all of this stuff, like pizza boxes and Empire State Building.
Nice.
I forget the name of it, but there's like a mini game with that in there. You got to traverse up and then you get like a costume reward, which is
Right.
hilarious because it's basically you're holding a French baguette and you're in a striped shirt and a red beret and black shorts. And you're very French and you have like
Very
red
French.
sunglasses on. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
oh,
Yep.
oh.
Yeah, you're fighting people in this getup, dude, and it's entertaining, man. It is.
You got to put everyone in a swimsuit. It's absolutely hilarious. It is so funny.
One thing I want to hit on, you talked about the influence from other games and clearly the JRPG influence, but there's also some From Software influence as well. I mean, if you've played a Souls game, if you play
Right.
Black Myth Wukong, where we're talking about landing these parries, well, you got to hit the button right before the guy attacks you, but the arm will be swinging up, and then all of a sudden you think he's going to come down, but he hesitates a little bit, does a flip, and then hits you, and then
It's
you're screwed. You know what I
just
mean?
that 1 microsecond, and there's an
Hmm.
enemy that the little dolls, the little gestrels that are like child. They're so funny, dude. Oh my
Yeah.
god!
The gestural, yes, yes, yeah, they're funny.
So
Yep.
there's a fight where boom, the guy comes down and come down with a straight right, boom, parry, pop, and then other times he feints with his left, and then comes around with a right hook, and you're like, you miss it completely, dude. You hate.
Yeah, yeah, you're
You
not hitting
try
that
that,
first
yeah.
try.
No,
Yeah, but it's yeah, so there's that From Software influence. So it's amazing, dude. The gameplay I think is
10
great,
out of
dude.
10.
Let's
Yeah,
go
let's
into another 10 out of 10. Sound effects and audio, dude.
Ooh.
Composed by Laurien Testard. Very French,
Legend.
very amazing, dude. We're talking a full orchestra, accordions. We're talking techno, jazz,
Everything.
saxophone, dude. The
Everything.
Dude, music is so important in a video game. It helps
Yeah.
bring out emotion. It accentuates an event in the game. It gets you into the zone. Battle music can hit really hard. You know what I mean? So, dude, this is, oh God, the orchestra. Just YouTube
Killer.
Expedition 33 orchestral session and just experience it, baby. Just experience it. It's
I think it
amazing.
was one of the first fights with one of the big guys. Yeah, I think it's the second level or second area with the underwater bit. And it goes, it may not be that one, but then it's like, you're like, oh, dude, this, I'm going to get going here. And then another
Yeah.
fight, as you progress towards the game, you get towards the monolith and you do all the stuff. It's like you get very violin-y, you get kind of very cello-y, kind of chill, mellowed out. Because
Yes.
the fight, number one, it's going to be hard. Number two, that it's going to carry weight in the story because
Yes.
you're facing off against somebody who's a linchpin in the whole thing. So
Mm,
by destroying this guy, something is going to happen, and it's going to take a toll on your character. So music is very influential
big
when
time.
it's so big. Just think about like Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it gets you amped up. It gets you going.
It does.
The music is. And I found the guy on SoundCloud. So
Right. Yeah. Lorienta starred on SoundCloud. Now, like this guy, this YouTuber I follow, Devin Chase, said it best. I'm going to quote him. He said, "This is a soundtrack you hum to yourself, not realizing it at the grocery store.
oh my
This is a
god,
soundtrack you
dude!
put an earpiece in and listen to it during the workday, dude. It's that amazing, and the emotions that you feel with the music. I'm trying to get too deep here, but I have to talk about it because I experienced it. We experienced it. You know what I
Right?
mean? Like anytime there was a big event in the game, there's this epic opera in the background, and
Yeah,
you're just like, holy shit, this is fucking intense, dude.
yeah.
So it really, again, if this doesn't win soundtrack of the year, I'm flipping a fucking table.
It's a
I'll tell you that
crime,
much. It's
crime against humanity.
damn
You
highway robbery, dude. If that happens, so
again, it's Chris Farley. What? What?
what?
What?
Are you
So
realize you're drinking Colombian coffee crystals? What?
angry.
Expedition Angry. Expedition 33 didn't win soundtrack of the year. What?
What? So yeah, I mean the atmosphere, everything fit. I couldn't imagine one track being anywhere else than
Mm-mm.
where it was.
Right.
And you're putting it up against some of the big dogs. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah.
putting it up against like the Chrono Triggers, the Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So it's a 10 out of 10. The soundtrack is probably the easiest thing to talk about because it speaks for itself.
It
And I
does.
love the humming it to yourself in the grocery store without even knowing.
Isn't that
That's
so true, dude?
crazy.
I'm
Wow.
singing it and I'm singing French words and I'm pronouncing it awfully. And my wife's like, "What the fuck you talking about, dude? Like, what the fuck are you singing?" And I'm like, "You know what? You wouldn't understand, all right?"
Yeah, Mel.
Male, putain.
But then,
Here's one area that me personally, I kind of knocked it down a little bit. The graphics, the
okay.
design, the performance. One positive I want to say is that the game does look well. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
continent looks like a fucking dream, or just like the colors they use, like a vague memory or something. It's hard to describe, but you feel like you've been there. It's amazing videos. We talk about the France, the architecture with Lumiere. There are some beautiful things in this game. The Unreal Engine 5, they really took it to the max.
Yeah.
And you could stand on a cliff and look out, and this is always my test. Like I compare it to Monster Hunter Wilds,
Oh,
Doom: The Dark Ages, Black Myth Wukong. I think was perfect on the graphics. But you look off and you see the paintress and the monolith. You see these floating rocks. You see this crazy looking sky, and it really does look
oh my
amazing.
God.
My huge
Yeah.
minus on it was that the lip syncing was off at certain
Yes.
times of the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The voice did not sync up with the lips moving. So at first I was like, I'm gonna go the whole fucking game like this. Like, are you kidding me? But I'll tell you what, I kind of just got so wrapped up in the story
Yeah.
that I was so into it and passionate about it that I kind of just lost track of it and didn't really notice it as much. But it was so gripping, you know. But that that could bother some people. You know, I also played on keyboard mouse. I played on PC. I
I
know.
told you, controller, dude.
I know. You said it. You said it. I've been I thought I was nailing the parries and the dodges with my Q and E keyboard button, but I was hitting that Q, but yeah, the mouse, you know, the little cursor on the mouse stays on the screen during the battle. So that's one thing I didn't like
Oh,
about the PC version of the game, that you could see your mouse cursor, and I'm like, get this fucking thing out of here. I just want to focus on the on the battle
I'm
here,
gonna
you know.
say that's a you issue because it tells you specifically this
Yeah.
game is better played on controller,
It does.
which
It does.
you have
It
one.
warns me.
Use it.
Yes, I have
Um,
a controller.
I will say to the lips thing, also the eyes. The eyes
Yes.
bothered me because if you've ever seen Son of a Woman and Al Pacino, it looked
Yeah.
like a blind, and not, I'm obviously not downplaying, but it looked like a blind person like seeing through somebody when they're talking to them, and their eyes, if they were like
Yes.
looking, if they were the person was up to the right, the eyes would be like dead center. It was so
Yeah.
weird to me.
In your direction, like looking at
Right.
you, but not looking at you. You know what I mean? Like if
Correct.
someone's so fucked
Yeah.
up drunk and they're trying to make eye contact with you, you're like,
Yeah.
Is someone fucking looking behind me? Like,
And
what the
they're
fuck are you
they're
looking at?
they're trying to talk about Expedition 33. That's exactly what they would look like at a bar at 2 a.m. Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. Exactly, exactly. So the eyes, little weird. The lip syncing was a knock. You
Yeah.
know, I said, maybe it was my fault. The PC, the fucking mouse cursor was bugging me. You know what I mean? I swear it'll mess up. Like I missed my E and be like, the fucking mouse cursor is in the way. It fucked me up. You know what I mean? So graphics, beautiful. The performance, you know, that lip sync was a little off, but the Unreal Engine 5, man, really does well, man. The loading times, I didn't have really any issues. The game had never really crashed on me.
None.
You know, it ran smooth. You know.
I had like a couple crashes when I was in the campfire,
Okay.
but that's about it. I would say other load times were good.
The game automatically saves pretty frequently, so like even
Yeah.
if you crash, like it wouldn't be the end of the world. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
So
And then what else? I think again they did it kind of like they didn't try and reinvent the wheel, which is fine. Not every game has to be, you don't have to have new elements for every single game, right? Use what's there. And they actually started in Unreal 4, and then they switched it over to Unreal 5, and they just co-opted all that stuff. So why not? Right? Trees look great. If it's a tree done by you, you're not going to reinvent a tree. You know what I mean? So just put like
fair
a
point.
deciduous tree there. Put like mountains and stuff. Who cares? No one's caring about that. They're caring about the excellent gameplay, caring about
Right.
the atmosphere, caring about the characters, except for their whacked ass eyes and their messed up mouths. But that's about it. But I would say that was a knock for me as well. I kept going, what are we she looking at?
Yeah, who the fuck is she looking at? Yeah, that's a fair point. The eyes, yeah, a little off. We got my favorite piece. If you look at a video game, is the story. I'm a sucker. I'm a
The
sucker
story
for a
is
good story,
the story is
dude.
incredible.
Incredible. I will say, here's what I compare it to. Drawing a blank on Apple. Severance.
Yes.
Severance. If you watch Severance, huge show right now going on. It unravels like such an excellent mystery. It unravels like Severed. You don't know what the fuck is going on. Like I said, they don't tell you. Who is this woman painting these numbers up in the
Right.
fucking sky? Why are
Right.
these people disappearing? You don't know shit, dude. So at the surface level, it's just like this dark horror fantasy, but in depth, dude, it's like a philosophical, emotional journey, dude. It
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah.
It's
And
phenomenal.
by the end of it, without giving spoilers, who you pick kind of determines how you process grief. I'll just put it that way.
Wow.
So
See, dude, it's you know,
it's pretty wild.
like I said, it doesn't hold your hand with all this
It doesn't.
storytelling. It slowly leaves you these breadcrumbs, is what I keep saying, because that's the best way I can describe it. It trusts you as a gamer to navigate your way through the lore.
Absolutely.
And I found myself reading every journal from every expedition you find. I spoke with every NPC. You just feel immersed. You know what I mean? You get wrapped up into the lore from the start of it because you're curious what the hell's going on. You want to find out. Just like Severance, you're like, next episode, what's going on? This is crazy. Next episode, tell me what's happening. What's going on? You know what I mean? So yeah, the story just phenomenal. You know, I want to try to do it without too much spoilers, so it's kind of hard to go too deep into it. You know, so
I will say, like, the immersion gets when you get by the time you're kind of halfway through Act 3, you kind of have you have a very strong understanding about what it is, and then it kind of flips it on its head even more, and it gets even realer about what is going on and what is really happening, and how the gommage came to be and who's actually responsible.
Yep, right.
So it's part murder mystery, part like faithful fantasy, part kind of a very real life subtext. You know, even the subreddit kind of explodes and people still argue about who they pick at the end, which is absolutely hilarious. There's some really good memes about it. I do have another knock on the game, but that may come later, and the story's not one of them. So the story's fantastic. I mean, you do want to talk to every NPC. Dude, you should see Paris flipped upside down with red lightning bolts going everywhere. That's what you're going to see. It is insane.
That opening scene in Lumiere, we talked about it, where you start as Gustave and you're walking through the streets of this Lumiere, this island.
Yep.
You know, because the paintress is on this continent. You have to sail over this continent. So you're on Lumiere and you're walking through the streets and you see these amazing visuals, and you know you're talking to these people, and they're so, like I said, like there's despair, dude. These people are sad. These people the children are like, I didn't even want to see my dad because they're pissed because they're gonna.
When Sophie is holding, she's holding the children. And then she just kind of floats away to dust.
Yeah,
you're like,
dude,
oh man.
It emotionally prepares you for what's to come, dude. It gives you just enough gameplay hints where you're like, all right, yeah, and you're going off to the continent. Good luck out there.
Right.
Don't go into that zone where it says danger.
And then you're
gonna get fucked up.
Yeah, and you have like little kids at the edge of the dock who are like, I can't wait to be expeditioners. And then this crew goes in bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, just like anyone else would, where you have someone like Loon who's very kind of strict with the books. Hey, as expeditioners, we have to do this.
She's by the books. Yeah,
And you find out very quickly, this is not by the books. Okay? Throw the books away because no one really understands what's going on this side of side of the ocean, right?
Exactly.
Also, Charlie Cox, Daredevil. Voices, I think, Gustave.
Yeah. Oh, dude, we didn't even talk about the voice acting.
Yes.
I mean, voice acting, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Fucking acting in general, phenomenal.
There's so much. You're talking about the goat of CGI, right? Andy Serkis. He puts so much emotion and heart into Renoir, his character, that it's like you half-hearted understand where he's coming from, and you also half-hearted want to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
But so that prologue was very akin to me to Celis jumped off the cliff in Final Fantasy VI. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
When she throws the roses over, she's at the world of ruin. There's nobody else. This is it. I'm just gonna jump.
She jumps.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, it's just as emotionally impactful. It's just as emotionally impactful as that Final Fantasy VI scene. It really is. And it prepares you for the rest of the game and the journey that you have to go on for the rest of that game. That scene in Final Fantasy VI and the prologue in this game does the same thing. It prepares you, it hits you hard, smacks you out at the head, and tells you, get over to that fucking continent. You need to figure out what's going on. You know what I mean? So it does a good job, man. It really does. Replayability, dude. Different endings, different character styles, different builds. an open world. You know, you talked about it. There's an open world map. You can go directly to your objective, or you could go to these danger zones. They call them. Level up a little bit, get your parries
Yeah.
down a little bit before you go there. But dude, there's a lot of replayability.
I
Hi.
was so there are there's a ton of side quests. There's a ton of side material. Like I went through the game. I did some little bits here and there, and then eventually I just got to the point where like, hey, I kind of want to just go towards the end here and
Yep.
get through the game. And now I've kind of taken a break from it because my right index finger was tired from parrying so much. So I will go back and I will do all those kind of side objectives and do all that stuff. But there is
Mhm.
replayability. You do want to put Mael in the party? Go for it. You got every shot in the world. You got New Game Plus, which is more difficult. It resets. It's almost like a ladder reset for you, except everything's more difficult. So that's kind of my next thing. Like with Black Myth Wukong, I went through the game. I was on next game 5+. So I went through the game like 6 times before I was finally like, okay, I think I've done everything. I got every storyline. And each time I went through the thing, I discovered something else. I looked left instead of looking right. And I said, oh, let me follow that path. I don't think I've ever been down there. And it was an entirely different thing. So the replayability, it's off the charts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there.
Absolutely. Real quick aside, that's funny you said that about your index finger trying to hit those parries and hit those parries on time. You had maybe a little tendonitis or a little cramp or something. So I'm playing on keyboard mouse, right? I was playing on keyboard mouse, and I was so I used the E key to parry and the Q key to dodge. So I was trying to hit that fucking key so hard, and I would play at night. My wife would be asleep, and she'd come out and be like, "What the fuck are you slamming on the keyboard for?" Because I was trying to hit that damn parry so hard, dude. So I feel your pain, man. I think I might have a blister, on my finger. Who knows? But yeah, agree with you. The replayability. I just played Doom: The Dark Ages, and I felt like one and done. I felt like I don't really want to go back and play it. Yeah, do I want to do an Ultra Nightmare run? Maybe if some DLC comes out. I want to go right now back to Expedition 33. I want to restart and play and know what I know now going into it, hit these
Exactly.
different side areas that I didn't do. I did kind of rush to beat it, because I just wanted to get it done. So there's so much, this open world of a map where you can go straight to your objective. You can go explore these different things, battle these different creatures. So
Yeah.
it's really remarkable. It's
Yeah, and then
remarkable, man.
one of the first things you see when you get out to the open continent is this flying pink dragon, and you're thinking like, yeah, man, I'm gonna have to take that thing sooner or later for sure.
That's right.
For sure. And I haven't gotten that point. I think I stepped up once to that thing and got put down
Did it fuck you
pretty
up?
quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
because my pictos weren't set up and I didn't have the right ones. I think I have, some better ones now. But yeah, and again, it's a very simple concept of it's almost like Breath of the Wild, right? How they did Breath of
Mm-hmm.
the Wild, where everything you wanted was always in the distance. So you're always kind of going toward it. But
Mm-hmm.
then as the closer you get toward it, the more the foreground becomes clear. And now you start seeing kind of like other paths, right? The most simple
Mm-hmm.
thing is center, left, right. You start seeing all this stuff, and now your mind starts kind of going, right? I'm going through Knights of the Old Republic, and this game is an absolute blast. There are so much you can do in this
Great
game.
game. 2003, dude. Game of the year. Knights of the Republic.
Didn't
Phenomenal.
even realize it. Now I'm here 22 years later.
You going dark side or light side?
I'm fully dark side. I killed a droid and told its owner that I couldn't find it. So now
Oh
she's
my
stuck blind.
gosh. I'm not surprised, dude. It's like I was talking to Kernick, who joined us as part of the Nerd Odyssey gang, and he was saying that he plays dark side, and he was saying, the woman asks you to find her son, you murder
Yep.
her. You go out
Yep.
find the son, you murder him. You just murder everybody, man. The game is freaking intense, dude.
I've
It's
lied
fun
to the
to go dark
Jedi
side.
Council. Yeah, I've lied to the Jedi
Yeah, yeah,
Council.
yeah. You can lie.
And fake Yoda's like, sounds right. And you're thinking like twirling your mustache, like, got one over on you, you know?
They're like, you must put aside the dark and trust in the Force. You're like, yeah, sure,
Big
whatever,
wink.
Master,
Yeah, big
whatever, Master
wink.
Jedi. Sure, yeah. Lie. Dark side points gained. Dark side points gained.
Hilarious.
I know,
So
phenomenal.
again, a game that is they do this beautiful thing of you want to stay on. they keep you on the path, but they also give you the option to go left or right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a beautifully done, simple game.
It is. It's complex enough that once you get the hang of it, you can master it. But
Yeah,
they do such a good job of giving you a complex story and making you understand it, and not holding your hand through the gameplay, letting you master this gameplay to the point where it becomes addicting.
yeah.
And they say, hey, do what you want. Go to the main objective, or go over here to this fucking cave and
Go to
find
the
out what's
forest.
inside there.
Yeah, go for it. Try it. You can try. No doubt, you can try. You will get put down, but you can try.
That's right. So I do want to wrap up here, Slosser. Was there
Yeah.
any? You said there was one more knock on the game. Did we cover that?
Yeah. So this is what my main knock on the thing is, and this is where Black with Wukong absolutely excels.
Mm-hmm.
It's too cinematical for me. The ending,
Cutscenes.
the ending took 47 minutes,
Damn.
and that was him just, that was just the characters getting through the story. I understand why they did it. It totally fits inside the game, but
Mm-hmm.
for me, maybe 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Maybe there could have been some lines of dialogue that maybe could have been kind of shortened out a little bit.
That's a commitment, dude. That's way too long of a cutscene. Metal Gear Solid I loved in 1998 for the PlayStation. Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, 4, cutscenes, 75% cutscenes, 25% gameplay. Now this
Well,
game is
also-
not like that. This game is not like that, but they do have some long cinematic scenes.
Yeah.
So
but
yeah.
again, it fits the context of the game. But again, maybe just kind of shorten them up for Expedition 32. I don't know. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So to kind of put a stamp on this thing, I love this game. I picked it up. I didn't put it down.
Likewise.
Didn't put it down. I recommended it to everybody. I immediately, I didn't look anything up. I went through the game kind of in our own way as we do. And
Mm-hmm. Yep. We all got our own style.
yeah, I will go through and do New Game Plus, and I will do all that stuff. And it's got me hook, line, and sinker. Right now, I'm just kind of on a little bit of a Diablo 2 kind of lull. I got to get back in the pit for a little short time, but then I'll be back at it. I'll be back at Expedition 33. It's a 10 out of 10, 9.6 out of 10, whatever. It's game of the year, game of the decade.
This is a no-brainer game of the year. Again, I said soundtrack of the year, but I want game of the year for this. I'm going to be pissed if it doesn't. Yeah, we still have 6 more months until the year's over. But dude, this is the highest rate. It just took down Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, as the highest rated video game of all time. This should absolutely win game of the year. There is no doubt in my mind that I would vote for it. I've played a lot of the games this year, and nothing has really topped this. Nothing has really approached this in terms of quality. We say at the end of these reviews, Slosser, is it worth the $50? This game costs $50. Abso-fucking-lutely it is. Abso-fucking-lutely.
The fact that it costs less than Doom is
Doom
a
was
testament
70
in itself. So,
Yeah. Or you can play it on Xbox Game Pass.
or
As
do
of
that.
May, it had 3.3 million copies sold, and that's with it being on Xbox Game Pass. Most people are just playing it for fucking free. Playing it for free, and this
That is
game is still
crazy.
crushing, dude. Still fucking crushing. This is game of the year. Tell those AAA sons of bitches how we do it. Right here with your 30 developers, Expedition 33. Gotta fucking love it.
Gotta love it. Buy the game, play it, live it, love it. Done.
That's right. That's right,
All right,
baby.
brother.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Thanks for joining.
Appreciate you.